Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our November 20th, 2024 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including James Gunn's LA screening of the new Superman movie. We've got Frank Grillo's thoughts on the footage that he's seen. We've got the latest episode of Superman and Lois to chat about, the 8th episode of season 4 we'll get through, and we'll show the promo for the penultimate episode. And we've got plenty of other merchandise and comic book news to get through as well. Joining me this week is my good friend Mark Lax. Welcome, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Doing well. Michael not with us this week. He is working, slaving away, and earning a crust. So it's just the two of us tonight. But we're ready and raring to go. Now, for our fans watching us live tonight, we thank you for joining us for this next hour of Superman content. Now, if you're doing it live either via our YouTube channel or directly on Facebook or Instagram or even on our website, seeing how we're beaming this live across the internet and therefore around the planet Houston, we'd like to hear from Superman fans right across the world. So to actually talk to us tonight, you can call us using the QR code, which I will whack up on the screen right there in between the two of us. You can scan that QR code on your screen right now or head to supermanhomepage.com/live and click on the call now button. We'll try to get you on in the second half hour of tonight's program. Now, for those who are tuning in live via either YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, if you're a little bit shy and don't want to get on the phone tonight to chat to us, then we invite you to join in and chat with fellow fans in the comments. Post your comments, ask questions. Mark and I will keep an eye on everything you have to say, and we'll react to them as the show goes on, so get involved. And if you're watching this live via YouTube, then we encourage you to post a super chat. All you have to do there is on your YouTube feed, you'll see a dollar symbol, dollar sign. Click on that, a slider will appear on your screen. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question live on the screen as we go along on air tonight. There are also super stickers and super thanks if you want to give those a go. And we want to thank our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support. Where are they? There they are right there. Thank you for buying us this week's coffee. I drank it a little bit earlier today, but I appreciate your donation towards the Superman homepage website. And if you want to join those fine folks and have your name or business featured as a sponsor here on our live show, simply click the join button below there on YouTube or go to patreon.com/Superman homepage. All right, with all the details out of the way, Mark, how have you been? How's your week so far?
Oh, not too bad. Chugging along, I guess.
Chugging along. Very good.
Yeah,
Well,
chugging along, yes.
excellent. Well, it's been a pretty busy week in the world of Superman, especially on the merchandise and miscellaneous types of information. But we'll start with movie news, which is always first and foremost in front of people's minds when it comes to chatting about Superman and all the stuff that's been going on in the world of Superman. And this past week we had a post by James Gunn on his Blue Sky social media account. There are more social media accounts going around out there at the moment than anything else. A lot of people leaving Twitter and heading to Blue Sky, and James Gunn seems to be pretty active over there. Now, on his Blue Sky social media account, he shared this photo of him and his wife headed back from LA to Atlanta, where the two of them were at a screening in LA for the Superman movie. Now, I don't know who was there for the screening, but when somebody asked him, was it, for post-production or pickups, he said, no, post for a screening. Now, I'm guessing that it was Warner Brothers executives, DC Studios executives who were part of that screening, maybe some of the cast or crew. And now everyone's saying, well, if you're screening it now in November, why don't we get the movie earlier? I'm sure that this was a rough cut. There would be visualizations in there, there would be non-completed special effects. There'd be scenes without maybe the musical score behind it. There'd be previs. There'd be stuff in there that would be not a complete full finished product, but would still give the people watching an idea of the story and the pacing and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is not a totally finished film. I mean, I think that's fairly obvious.
Hmm.
Yeah, he probably, yeah, there were probably some execs and who wanted to kind of see it ahead of time and see as much as they could, and maybe even some wanted to make some comments and have him make changes or something. Maybe, hopefully, he didn't have to do that, but that's possible. And I'm sure, he invited a few people along to say, hey, come on, let's, come take a look at it and showing some of it to the execs. I mean, it's something along those lines. I mean, we don't know for sure, but I mean, it's got to be kind of along that line, I believe.
Yeah, and it's part of the process. They do these kinds of things where they're showing everyone where they're at and how things are going, and then if they need to do pickups or need to fix things, in the middle third and fix the pacing, those kinds of things, they can do that at these types of things. And of course, you want to get other people's opinion because when you're the director, you're very close to the project, and you want to be able to get someone who's at arm's length to give you their personal opinion because you can get tied up in it yourself and be unsure of how things are going from an exterior perspective. Now, people asking, Superman fans of Malaysia asking, any idea when the trailer will come out? Well, we're hearing now mid-December. There was some speculation that he might be in Spain. I think it is for CCXP, but he has already said that no, we won't be there. Neither will Peter Safran. He's co-CEO of DC Studios. So now everyone's thinking that it might be mid-December. As we said months ago, probably tied in with the release of the Lion King Mufasa film, which is out in the middle of December. So, yeah, I'm guessing it's less than a month away before we see the trailer. It's out there. And then we heard Frank Grillo, who is playing Rick Flag Sr. in both the animated series or feature Creature Commandos and then also in the live action Superman film. We'll see him play that role there. He had this to say when interviewed by, who was it? Collider. Have a listen. This is what Frank Grillo had to say about what he's seen.
And I'll tell you something. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I got a sneak peek at the little bit of the trailer, and I'm not joking, and I'm not blowing this out of proportion. My skin was hot, and I had goosebumps. That's how great it is. And so I think, by the way, this kid David is going to be a superstar, and he's amazing. As is the rest of the cast in the film, and just James' take on it. I think I think it's gonna be the movie.
So there you go. And look, people are saying, well, of course he's in the film. Of course he's going to drum it up and, make it out to be the best thing ever. And most actors do, and yeah, there is that. But he doesn't have to go out on a limb and, be as excited for it. He could say, yeah, it's going to be really good and leave it at that. But he's like, oh, I had goosebumps and, had chills and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, is he exaggerating? Possibly. Is he drumming up, hype? Possibly. I'm hoping that it's all as good as he says it is.
Oh, I think so. I mean, yeah, I could be drumming it up a little bit, but no, I would think. I mean, I don't think he'd go all out if he watched it and he was like, and then he's like, oh, I got goosebumps. I think it's pretty good. I mean, I think most people when they first see it are really going to be, eyes wide and saying, "Whoa, this is going to be great," So, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure we'll probably get it before the end of the year.
Yeah, well,
And
I mean,
I
there
think
is
we'll all
this.
hopefully we'll all have goosebumps.
Yeah, exactly. So there is the Super Bowl, as some people in the JP Rocha has said in the comments, that is coming December. I think it is. I'm not obviously in
No,
the US.
Super Bowl. It'll be in like usually very early February.
Oh, okay. Well, I
So,
think that's a little bit too far.
which could be no. I still think we might get to see a glimpse or something by December, but it wouldn't surprise me if they use the Super Bowl as the big.
Yeah, the big trailer.
For the biggest big trailer or at least the longest teaser, that they have anyway.
Yeah. And you got to remember that there are multiple teasers and trailers that come out over time. So in mid-December, we might see just a teaser of some kind. You probably might not recall because you're probably not as old as we are if you're listening out there, but they did a teaser for the Superman movie where it was just like a shot, first-person perspective flying through the clouds, and with the names like Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando's name just coming up in front of the clouds, through the clouds. So there wasn't any footage; it was just a teaser. These kinds of things have been done in the past and continue to be done that way. So we may get some type of teaser in December, and then with the Super Bowl, we may get a massive first proper trailer. But I do think we will see something before the end of the year.
Yes.
All right, so that is really all we have for the Superman movie. James Gunn's comment about the screening in LA, and then Frank Grillo's comment in regards to the footage that he's seen. So the hype is building, and we hope it's as good as we think it is. There are naysayers out there, and they're usually of a certain ilk who want to put down this film, and they're making out like that there are people who were in the LA screening who are saying that it was really bad, and these people are just making stuff up. Trust me, there's nobody who is in that screening who is going to risk by, posting anything on social media. So it's if you see anything that's, someone was in the screening in LA and they say it was really bad, take it with a grain of salt, because it's usually from a certain group of fans who are disgruntled because of the way things have happened with the films that they enjoyed.
Plus, like we said, it's not finished either. So some people may have it's always possible somebody did see it and said, because it's not finished, it just doesn't look, it's not going to look good or something. I mean, that's possible. But I, like you said, I mean, I don't know if they sign a non-disclosure, which is possible.
Now, these people
you're not really going to get.
And these people who sit in on these screenings at an early stage when there's previs and stuff like that are in it, they know what they're looking at. They know that it's not a finished product. They're in there looking for pacing. They're in there looking for story. So they're not there looking for visual effects and how that looks. So just keep that in mind. All right, well, let's get into the television side of things, where the 8th episode of Season 4 of Superman and Lois aired on Monday night. It was titled Sharp Dressed Man, and that was a relevant title for a number of reasons. Not only did we see Lex Luthor in a sharp suit, having shaved his beard off and looking pretty snippy for his TV interview, but we also got a special appearance by a certain actor who was very familiar to Flash fans, playing a character that will be familiar to Superman fans. What did you make of this episode?
I just got to watch it today because I don't get to see it on Monday, and I got a little sneak peek of Mike's review, so I knew who he played before I saw it, but it was great. I mean, he playing Godfrey, and playing it so well, playing it, it just obviously not on the good guy's side, really wanting to drum up all the bad publicity and get people riled up, and that's what the character G. Gordon Godfrey, that's what he does. He gets people riled up, and and of course he's had a connection to Darkseid, of course, going way back to Legends. Now, I don't think Darkseid's going to have anything to do with it, but in these last 2 episodes, I doubt it. But it's just seeing the character and the way he presented it, and the way the show presented it, and no, it was great. It was just what you would think the character would be.
Yeah, exactly. So Gordon Godfrey, a character that is familiar to Superman fans from the comic books, played by Tom Cavanagh, who is familiar to fans of The Flash and the crossover series on the CW. He played this really well. He was likable, but loathable at the same time. He was just snarky. You could tell that he was, on the, playing to Lex's tune. Lois played it really well. Like, I was really impressed with, but then Lex has always got a scheme up his sleeve, and Amanda McCoy making that call for Milton Fine, Brainiac, B13. We've seen that a number of times now. He's not an alien, but definitely playing that Brainiac role, and he is a Brainiac because he's smarter than everybody else, smarter than John Henry, was able to crack his his steel suit, and take over it and make some adjustments. And Amanda McCoy, pulled that rein right at the right time, because Lois is about to call in Lex's daughter from overseas to, discredit him, and Lex wasn't prepared for that. But Amanda McCoy came through for him and proved her worth to Lex's endeavors herself.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a great scene too, when he flew out the window and to intercept John Henry and in his suit. Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't think that was going to end well for Lois. Obviously, I mean, she did. She held her own,
Yeah.
and I was, still praying something would come out of it that would make her look, good. But of course not. I mean, Lex, they planned this from the beginning with the car crash, and John and Nat going and saving him, and it was Milton Fine, and he did whatever he did with the suit. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but he did something that he'd be able to take control.
Yeah, he hacked into the suit and then took over and was able to stop any of their protocols to stop, cut things off, and any of their mechanisms to be able to shut it down were overridden, and they've lost control of it, and now it's Lex's Lexo suit, if you like, to take over and wear, which is the other way of having that sharp-dressed man connotation in this, because he's got not just got a new business suit, but he's got a new mech suit. So there is that photo image there of Superman flying out that window. Gee, he makes that quick change. 1 minute he's Clark Kent, next minute he's breaking through that window as Superman. Wow. I don't know how he did that. But
throughout the now, let me just say, throughout the episode, he's dressed as Clark.
Yeah.
So I thought he was going to be flying as Clark, but bam, he was Superman.
He was out of Superman, yeah. And he's not wearing the glasses anymore, so that's one less thing he has to take off. But he doesn't take off his wedding ring either. You can see it there front and center in the in that image. First time we've seen Superman flying around with a wedding ring on.
Well, in the show, yes, I believe, because now he can. As everybody knows. But I remember, after he got engaged to Lois in the comics, somebody took a picture of him. He forgot to take off the ring, and so or was it after he was married? No, it was when they got engaged, I believe.
Maybe, yeah.
Either way, but I remember somebody took a picture, and they're all questioning, "Oh, is Superman married?" And but this they all know in the show now that who he is.
So our big tease for tonight, our graphic for tonight's episode was, will Superman die again? Now, that was one of the big revelations in this episode. And again, of course, if you're feeling like this is spoiler territory for you folks because you haven't watched it, apologies, but this is what we're here to do. We're here to watch the episodes and chat to you about them directly afterwards. The big revelation in this was that after doing some tests on Superman, John Henry has discovered that he is starting to lose not just his powers, but he's losing his life in many ways. He's aging like a normal person will, that eventually he'll lose all his powers, and eventually he will pretty much, his heart is going to give out the same. He's got, how old was Sam Lane in his...
I think they're saying like 60. I think that's what they're kind of.
Okay, let's say he's late.
I don't even know if he's quite. I don't know if he's quite 6, but I think, didn't they say
something in his 60s? Yeah, so let's say he's in his 60s, and he's got maybe what, 20, 30 years, you know, not the way Superman's using his heart, but so yeah, it's the heart is only going to last as long as it would have lasted for Sam Lane, pretty much at this point in time. So he will die again at some point. Probably not in this last couple of episodes, but it is making out that Superman is going to end up being human. He is going to be vulnerable, and his powers are already diminishing. His hearing's not what it used to be. He's starting to get grey in his hairs. We saw that he coloured that in the last episode. And so, yeah, it's a big revelation and one that doesn't sit well with his family. But Jonathan and Jordan are stepping up, the Wonder Twins.
Yes. In fact, that scene where the suit attacked, they were with, I guess they were with Nat and
and Candace
and Candace, and the two of them, laid on the heat vision on one and on the other and destroyed the suit. That was a great scene. I loved seeing that.
It was.
And yeah, they are stepping up. So I mean, the mantle could very well be passed for sure, to the two of them. But who knows? I mean, there's only 2 episodes left, but you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I remember we saw a couple of photos before, the season began, and one looked like it was in the future and something. So who knows the kind of thing they're going to, they're gonna do. And maybe, hey, yeah, and maybe, who knows, maybe he does lose all his powers in the last episode. But hey, I mean, the show's going out with a bang, and
they can do what they want because it's finishing. They could do something done, completely different. But people are asking in the comments, where is Superman's actual heart? We saw Lex Luthor stomp on a heart, which Jordan assumed was his dad's heart, and that's why they had to go the whole Sam Lane souped up on that super juice injection route to get a heart that was semi-compatible. But is Lex holding on to the actual heart? Is that something that he would just step on? And can you step on Superman's heart and destroy it? Is it still going to be super because it's still under a yellow sun, or just because he's dead, his body didn't decay, so why should his heart? But these are questions that remain unanswered at this point in time. But speaking of questions, we've got quite a few from John Patrick Van Pelt, as always, saying if Lois's treatment has worked, why does she still need to have surgery? I think it's reconstructive surgery because she had her breasts removed from to ensure that the cancer didn't spread after having chemotherapy. I think that's what they're talking about, is reconstructive surgery, so that she can have her breasts back, I guess. How did Otis commit suicide by hanging himself? We never saw her on screen, but they said that while he was in his holding cell at the DOD, that he managed to hang himself, and so that was a big, it really hindered Lois's opportunity to get him to speak out against Lex, because Otis is no longer there to be able to speak out. And whether he would have or not, and whether Lex got to him somehow and made it look like suicide, that's up for speculation. Whose heartbeat were we hearing when Lex was trying to cancel the interview on Gordon Godfrey's show? I don't remember hearing a heartbeat.
I don't know about a heartbeat, but there was a lot of, all of a sudden, I don't know if he was having a panic attack, or if he, I mean, I don't quite understand. For a second, I thought maybe he was getting some of the super hearing. And
I think he was having a panic attack. I think it was more like he was almost PTSD type of situation, where he was having flashbacks to his time back in prison, flashbacks to, maybe his childhood, which we know was not a pleasant one. And so it's trauma that I think he was reliving, and the pressure of being in an interview and all that kind of stuff, because he was having a panic attack, and we're probably hearing his heartbeat, if there was a heartbeat to be heard, because he was having that panic attack and having heart palpitations, if you like. After John Henry Iron tries to help Clark with his superpowers, Can he die again, then come back to life a second time, or is this a permanent problem for Clark moving forward? Well, there isn't another heart. I mean, and it's not that he doesn't have a heart. It's that the heart that he has is failing him. And where do you get another heart? You can't exactly get another donation because that serum, there was only one injection. So unless he gets his actual old heart, original heart back, I don't see. That's what they're saying, is that he will eventually die. Since John Henry Irons' laptop was hacked by Milton Fine, how is he going to kill Superman if he's supposed to be filling in for the man? Well, yeah, I mean, now that John Henry Irons is pretty much out of the picture as a helper because he doesn't have a suit, and neither does Nat. Nat's suit was destroyed, and now Lex is in ownership and control of John Henry Irons' suit. So, and the laptop and, the little talking device was just a way for him to kind of access the suit. He's destroyed the laptop and the device now, so he really doesn't have any access to be able to get back into that suit. Lex is in full control of it thanks to Milton Fine. Can Jonathan and Jordan save Superman by combining their powers together? Well, I don't know how they can. I mean, they don't have medical training, so there's nothing they can do to help Superman in that regard, but they can definitely step into the void and help out, take up some of the slack that he's unable to if his powers are diminishing. The suit that Lex is going to be wearing in the last 2 episodes of the series, isn't that the same suit we saw in Superman the animated series? Well, I mean, it's a similar. Lex has had a super suit, a mech suit, a battle suit in many different iterations, way back to the Silver Age, where he had the green and purple suit, the Super Friends cartoons. He's had a suit in Superman the animated series. Right throughout the comic books, there have been suits
in the
that
early
Lex has worn.
80s, in the 80s, yeah, in the 80s, he got the green and purple. I mean, he always wore the actual green and purple suit that we saw on the Super Friends, but in the 80s, that's when he got the mech suit or whatever you want to call it, also green and purple. But that became famous, and we saw it again, like you said, in Superman the animated series, and other versions as we went along.
Yeah, exactly. Now we've got a super chat from Josh Green. Thank you, Josh, for your donation. He's saying, love the Gus Gorman mention by Natalie. Yes, thank you for mentioning that, Josh. When they were saying, how smart is Milton Fine, and Nat said to her dad, is he as smart as Gorman on our Earth? I straight away thought Gus Gorman, being the, genius computer operator that he was in Superman 3, although he's a bumbling idiot. He was obviously a computer genius in some way, shape, or form. But yes, Gus Gorman getting a mention as the genius from their Earth was a great little kind of tip to the hat to Superman fans of a bygone era.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure they do mean, I'm sure that is meant definitely as a, like you said, as a tip to Gus Gorman and Richard Pryor on, in Superman 3. I don't believe their Earth is where Superman 3 took place, but yeah, just, may
it's
not be the same character, but they use the name just to get us all a little, good. Hey, Gus Gorman.
Exactly. I like that. That was really cool. All right, so we are now down to the penultimate episode of the final season. The series is coming to a close. 2 more episodes to go, and we have the promo for To Live and Die Again, the title of episode 9 of season 4.
You're no match for what's next. Your boys, they're in training wheels. And Lois, there's nothing she can do. I am coming after everything you have ever loved.
We need to take him out.
That is not how we do things.
Maybe it should be.
Interesting. Family at odds there. John Patrick Van Pelt with a super chat question of his own. What was the issue with John and Candace? Well, Candace it was all too much for her. He's a celebrity now. His social media is blowing up. People are trying to chase her down for an interview to, want to know what it's like to be the girlfriend of a superhero. And so it was just like, this is all too much. I need to, get arm's length away from this. And then they were able to work things out, and John was able to, talk to her and reason with her, and they were able to solve the issue, and, she came around. So for her, it was just all too much.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, she was getting nasty messages and all of that.
Yeah,
I guess she
exactly.
just got scared and probably said, we better break up, and then realizing that she still really cares about him, and, kind of got back together there.
Now, not being an American, what is Jamie Kennedy? Who is Jamie Kennedy? Like, they keep talking about, Jamie Kennedy's befriending me and friending me, and
yeah, as I remember, Jamie Kennedy was an actor who, unless this is a different Jamie Kennedy, I don't know, but he was an actor who I guess has become, on social media, well known on social media. I mean, from what I remember, yeah, he was an actor, younger, and
obviously big on that earth.
Yeah, and so I don't know whether
weird.
he's become a social media celebrity now. I haven't really been following him. If they're talking about the same Jamie Kennedy, so I don't know.
Yeah, well,
but I'm thinking
Mind the Gap in the comments says the Jamie Kennedy name drop was weird. So, and then we've got another super chat from the Matrix King. Again, thank you for your donations. The Matrix King saying, "What if Doomsday comes back and gives Superman his heart?" That's an interesting one because, I mean, Doomsday is a version of Superman because it was Bizarro who became Doomsday, and before becoming Bizarro, he was a Superman on his Earth. So it might not fit because it might be back to front, but I'm sure the Kryptonian technology could inverse the heart somehow.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's
you never know.
Possible. I never thought of that. I mean, how the heart is now, after he became Doomsday, I don't know. But again, like you said, yeah, maybe Laura can get in there and do something.
Can work with it.
So who knows?
Yeah, Mind the Gap says, Jamie Kennedy is mostly an actor. I remember him from the Scream movies almost 30 years ago. And John Patrick Van Pelt says, he's an actor and comedian, but not as famous like he used to be. So it's kind of weird that it was a big name drop, and they kept doing it over and over. Last episode, this episode. So it was just like, what? Okay. Is there somebody within the Superman and Lois family who's a big fan of Jamie Kennedy? I don't know. But it was just kind of, I was like expecting someone like Oprah or, somebody that, a massive celebrity that they could keep name dropping. But Jamie Kennedy for me was like, who? But anyway, it is a bit of a dated reference, says Mind the Gap. All right, so that's where we're at with Superman and Lois. The penultimate episode does have a description for the episode, which I just closed off. I don't know why I did that, but let me quickly grab it for you. The description for this episode does read thusly. It says, Lois struggles against the fallout of the debate. Clark uses Luthor's tactics against him, while Jonathan and Jordan prepare for an impending battle. So some cool things to come in the upcoming episode. All right, so we're just going to quickly take a break, come back on the flip side. We're not going to do This Week in History because that's Michael's gig, and I haven't just prepared myself to do it this week. But we do have some comic book stuff to get through, plenty of merchandise and miscellaneous Superman stuff happening this past week. So we've got the fan favorite question still to come up. So stick with us, fans. We've got plenty to go through right after this messages, right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
I had a dream had I dreamt I was a Superman French fry. And in this dream, I dreamt that I was high in the sky. I cooked up crispy golden brown. I was delicious all around. I was as tasty as can be, brown and crispy, that was me. Everywhere it was the same, 'cause Superman French fry was my name. And dreams was in, but if I had my way, Superman French fry I would stay.
Okay, Superman French fry. Weirdest commercial. But
Yes.
thank you everyone for hitting that like button. Please continue to do that if you haven't done so on any of the social media platforms you're on right now. It really helps with the algorithm to let them the system know that this is a watched program that people are enjoying. So make sure you check it, smash that like button, as Nostalgic Podblast has said in the comments. All right, well, we're going to jump into the fan favorite segment of our show right now. All right, Mark, what was our fan favorite question from last week?
Our fan favorite question was, what is your favorite Christopher Reeve Superman statue, figurine, or action figure?
Okay, so who did we have up first?
Well, first we have J.P. Rocha, who wrote, I like the statue's design featuring Superman flying with Lois above the Daily Planet. This DC Collectible Designers Series statue is inspired by Gary Frank's art. Ironically, one of the most recognizable features of Gary Frank's art is his faces, and neither of these faces are Frankian. I would go further to say that the Superman sculpt actually scares me, and it looks like it scares Lois too.
So was that who was that one? That was from
that was JP Rocha.
JP, thank you, JP. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's interesting comments there. All right, next up we had Ryan Ignatius Pratt, and Ryan says, "Oh no, this is David. I think
David Rustage, yeah."
Yeah, David says, this is my only Superman statue incorporating a part of the newspaper building. No, that's from, I think I'm going off last week's comments. Need to, I think I have not grabbed this week's comments. Let me quickly grab those. I don't think I have. That's weird. I
don't know.
I apologize, folks. I've got the wrong comments, but this is from Ryan. So Ryan's saying here, this is the lone Christopher Reeve statue that I have. It is a beautiful foot-tall statue from DC Direct. I absolutely love it. So that one at least correlates with the image that I'm showing there for you. So thank you for that one. Okay. I have these two Christopher Reeve statues in my collection. The one on the left is the one I like the most. I don't know why the one on the right's got a good tan, but over the years, the plastic on that has really darkened. Interestingly, I don't know why. It's kind of something to do with being exposed to the air somehow, but the crystal bases there is a really nice feature. But the one on the left is a really cool one that I like, and I've got them both displayed nicely.
The one on the left is great. I mean, the face on the one on the right is from what I can see is pretty good. It just it looks a little wonky. I mean, you said you've had it for a while, so that could be why. But the head and all that. But But no, I do like that one. Of course, next to the crystal, that's very Superman the movie. So
Definitely. So thank you to those who had sent those in. Sorry for the little mix up there with the images going along with that. We now have our new, Mind the Gap saying, is making Christopher Reeve specific action figures and statues a more recent trend? Yes, it is definitely a more recent trend. It's in the last 10 years that we have seen a real surge of Christopher Reeve related statues and figurines. I don't know if it's because the technology is now capable of making them more lifelike or being able to, do sculpts that are more in line, or if it's just that nostalgia thing that everyone's, looking at the Superman movies and going back to the Christopher Reeve. It would be nice if there was a George Reeves surge of statues coming out, but seems to be Christopher Reeve is all the phase at the moment, or the fad at the moment.
as it should be, but we definitely need George Reeves. I mean, there's got to be some that are. There's got to be some that are kind of after his face or look from
His
the
likeness.
from the TV show, his likeness. But no, that's too bad. That first and foremost. I mean, all right, Christopher Reeve is the one that's known best to everyone around the world because not everyone grew up with, My Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. And I understand. I mean, obviously, I watched it in reruns because it was on in the 50s. But, he kind of took over that mantle and he was everybody's Superman. So that's definitely, understandable. And it's the way it should be. But George Reeves I think, definitely needs some action figures.
Yeah. So our new fan favorite question for this week, which I will get right next week, is what is your favorite Tom Welling Smallville statue, figurine, or action figure? Now, there are quite a few action figures over the years. Not so many statues, but maybe there are some out there, figurines. So, yeah, definitely get in and be part of the fan favorite question. The email address to send in your photos to is info@supermanhomepage.com. Email us your photos of your favorite Smallville, Tom Welling, Clark Kent figurine, statue, or action figure, and we will show them off when we return to this segment next week. Mind the Gap saying, I remember hearing an interview that since George Reeves left behind no air, Warner Brothers is nervous about making merch and some distant relative coming out of the woodwork. I don't know if that's necessarily...
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to
contest that.
Get really mad. How dare you? I'm his great nephew, and never even saw the show. But hey, you made a statue of him. How can you do such a thing? I don't think that would happen.
I remember hearing somewhere along the line that maybe I don't know if this is true. Maybe I'm just misremembering, but that Jim Hambrick may own the rights to the likeness of George Reeves. He owns the Super Museum in Metropolis, Illinois, but that could be something that's not true, but I remember hearing something along those lines, but we will clarify that if we can. All right, so that's the fan favorite segment for this week. Now we move into the comic book side of the world of Superman, where DC this past week released their February 2025 solicitations, and we highlighted for you some of the interesting Superman-related comics coming out in February, including this one, which caught a bit of attention, Superman number 23. As the Man of Steel battles for the life of his deadliest adversary, Doomsday, Superwoman travels across time and space to unlock the secrets of the Time Trapper. What life-shattering secrets lurk at the end of time? What clues can Lois Lane find to save the future? And can these answers be uncovered in time to halt Time Travel's evolution into God mode? Find out in this essential chapter of the many deaths of Doomsday saga. I think this is the first time we've seen Doomsday wearing a suit.
He is wearing a suit. Because I remember, the very first of the issue of the story. Spoiler alert. He's the Time Trapper, and he's wearing the purple robe. But here, it's purple, but you can see it's a suit.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that's kind of interesting.
A strange one. And then we've also got in February coming out, we've got Action Comics number 1083, the second chapter of this tale of truth and hope. As Clark Kent digs into what drove major disaster back to crime, he begins to uncover a greater conspiracy involving previously reformed villains. But when the Noble reporter gets too close to the truth, he finds himself under attack. Now, only one person can take over his investigation: Superman.
Yes, I'm assuming they're still going on the Superman All Stars for this.
Right.
Doing the different, because I mean we're right now in the major storyline. Mark Waid, with the Phantom Zone and Action Comics. So it looks like they're going back, because before then we've had several different storylines by different creators. And it looks like they're going back to that for now, but we'll see. So I'm just assuming that this is still kind of part of that. But
we'll have to wait and see,
I don't
because
know.
there are a couple
It has
of months.
been announced that there's a new. Yeah, it has been announced that there's a new writer after Mark Waid, so that I'm thinking they're still kind of going along those lines.
Well, Action Comics will be written. That issue that I just mentioned, it was John Ridley is the writer on Action Comics 1083. But yeah, be interesting to see where these goes. Josh Williamson is still on Superman in February, so we still have that, and Dan Moore doing the art. And there's also Absolute Superman #4 coming out in February, and these issues are all a couple of months down the track, so you can kind of draw a line from where we are currently to where things will be going in those issues. World's Finest continues. We've got Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor #1, second printing.
Second printing.
What happened to The Last Days of Lex
Luthor
#2?
Yeah, because we know that #2 will be out. The next month, right? And let's do a second printing after it's been away for like 2 or 3 years already, and no #2.
Unless they're reprinting #1 because #2 is finally coming in March.
It's it's possible, but you would think you would have heard something if it was coming up. Maybe. Maybe December or something, going into the new year. They're going to say March is then they're going to be the next next installment, but I don't know about that.
People saying that there's a lot of buffering going on with the YouTube at the moment. It seems to be not us necessarily, but YouTube, because Justin's in Sydney and he's having the same problems as the Nostalgic Podblast, who is, I believe, in the US. So if you are having issues on YouTube, we seem to be going along fine here on our side of things, and Instagram and Facebook continue to be continuing on. But Nostalgic Podblast saying that the buffering began when I mentioned Gus Gorman. So maybe it's a technical issue of back then from Gus.
I don't know. I mean, I can see from here that it seems okay. I don't know if it just got better, or I don't know if our voice is matching. Maybe they're not. I don't know, but it looks okay from here.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's the solicitations coming out in February. Now, looking at other things, there is a book imminently coming in early December titled Superman: The Definitive History, which is an awesome looking book. I haven't got a physical copy yet. I believe it's on its way, but I have had a digital version of this as a preview, which I've been reading through, and I was lucky enough to interview both authors, Ed Gross and Robert Greenberger. Robert Greenberger worked at DC for many years in the comic book department, and Ed has been a guest on our show in talking about his previous book, the Voices from Krypton. But I had a chat with both gentlemen, the authors of this book, which is the most comprehensive book about Superman ever produced. It is that detailed. It is not just text. It is a visual spectacular. There are images in there of things that you probably haven't seen before. It goes from the 1930s right up to today, and it is just an awesome publication. It comes out, I think, December 10th. And it is hefty and quite expensive, but it will be well worth it, because if you don't buy any other Superman book in your life, buy this one. And I can say that with great authority, that it is honestly the most definitive history of Superman that you'll ever read in any version out there.
Yeah, I've ordered both the physical and the digital. Only, I mean, the digital only because with my eyes and all that, it's just easier to read it. But I don't know how it's going to format, compared to the
Well, at least you can pinch
physical
and zoom
copy.
out, and you can zoom in on
Yeah,
things.
yeah, of course. But no, I needed a physical copy of that,
Oh yeah,
regardless.
yeah. It's
Oh,
one
I
to
needed a
display.
physical copy. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm gonna get it, getting both. So
cool,
really looking
cool
forward to that.
for sure. And DC have been busy doing some other things with Superman and their characters right across the superhero um, universe. DC Heroes United is a new interactive streaming series. Episode 1 dropped today. There's also a mobile game involved that you can download to be part of it, because at the end of every chapter, every episode, you vote on how you think the story should continue. Chapter 1, Episode 1 dropped today. It's called Dawn of Heroes. I've got a bit of, I think it's the trailer for DC Heroes United. I think, where is it? DC Heroes United. No, I don't have. I thought I did have a promo for it, but definitely something you should check out. Episode 1 is available now. It goes for about 27 minutes, and the animation is kind of cool. It's different design. Superman has a kind of different design that you might get into. I don't know. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but interesting story, because Clark and Lois are going out or are together, but she doesn't know he's Superman in this version of the story, so he's kind of ducking off, and she's like confronting him about it. So yeah, DC Heroes United. You get to vote on what happens next and how you think it should continue. So definitely have a look at that on our website, and you can check it out on the DCHeroesUnited.com. Here's some graphics. There's a graphic for the way the characters look, and here is the graphic for Chapter 1, Dawn of Heroes. So there's a few things that you might want to have a look at our website. All right, then there's DC Metal Force. Now, the company seems to be going all in on DC Metal Force because they have registered the trademark. They've got merchandise coming out. They've got T-shirts, furniture. What else have they got? Graphic novels, clothing, games. It's all coming out for DC Metal Force. I don't know why this is a big thing, but have a look at the official trailer.
The Technists wish to share their power, but only with the worthy. There will be a contest. Heroes versus villains. These tests will determine, does the Technist stand in light or in the shadow? Let the games begin.
So there's just a bit of the trailer. I don't know why DC Metal Force, but there's this Tech Crash graphic novel coming out. It's book 1 of 15. That seems to be more geared towards the younger audience. There's T-shirts coming out. Why Superman needs a mech suit, I don't know. But like, this is a graphic that's behind me on my green screen. That's also part of the imagery coming out of DC Metal Force. It is bizarre, but the company seems to be going all in on this.
I'm not very familiar with the whole Metal Force.
I think it's a new concept.
Brand. Yeah, but I don't know why they're going all out on it like that. I mean, I could see they're putting a video out and they're putting comics out, but all the merchandise and all that. I don't know, but I know there's people out there who I'm sure will snap it up, but
seems odd.
Beats me.
Yeah, I'm bemused, but it's interesting, but kind of confused why you feel like Metal Force is a big thing. You need to put all your heroes in these metal garb. But anyway, speaking of merchandise, Prime One Studios, I think tomorrow will be taking pre-orders for their Prime One Studio Justice Comics Superman. Have a look at this beauty. It's obviously designed around Alex Ross's art from the Justice series. There's just a bit of the video for the statue, which stands at 22.4 inches tall. The base has LED illumination. The cape is swappable. You can either have a fabric cape or a sculpted one. And I don't know prices yet. I think I've got it. Actually, I do have a price handy. Just let me grab. I think it's going to be $800 US.
Oh.
So just a bit of pocket change.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Man, you just can't get. I mean, they come up with these beautiful designs and these beautiful figures, and yeah, $1,200. And it's like, oh my god, it's like, I'd love to have this. No, I'm not spending $800. I'm sorry.
Exactly. So yeah, really interesting that that statue I think will be available for pre-order tomorrow. So keep an eye out. McFarlane Toys also showed off these new corner box collectibles that kind of mimic the old corner box panels from the comic books. Have a look at these. So yeah, they're crowdfunding for it now, but it's those kind of panels that you used to see in the top left corner of a comic book with the DC logo and then the character underneath it where they did the numbering. Yeah, they're doing the crowdfunding for it now. These are 16.5 inches for the Batman one, 17.75 inches for the Superman one, and they're able to be hung. And there are limited autographed editions. The Superman one will be signed by Dan Jurgens. So there's something interesting that you might want to get involved with. But that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. I want to thank everyone for joining us for this past hour on Superman Homepage Live. I want to thank our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And I want to thank you, my co-host, Mark Lax. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Steve.
Now, Mark will be back with me and Michael next week when we return for another edition of Superman Homepage Live on November 27th. Wednesday, November 27th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. We hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to make sure you check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. Remember, if you do want to sponsor our show, please head to patreon.com/supermanhomepage, or if you're on YouTube, click the join button below. There are different levels of membership with different levels of perks. But thank you so much for spending this past hour with us. We really appreciate your company. The complete 1 hour video of tonight's show will be available on our website and on our YouTube channel. If maybe you tuned in late, missed part of the show, or you want to check it out in full all over again, you can do that at those locations. As I said, we'll be back next Wednesday, November 27th. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Mark. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.